I think Americans and Korean people get together super well, almost perfect, because Americans need a lot of attention and Korean people love to be entertained. About 10 years ago, 9 years ago, I met this Korean guy. I believe his name was Insok. This is when I'm first hanging out with Korean people. I don't know a lot about it. And I was a math major and he was a math major in Korea, but in America he was just studying at an OAK. So I told him, you can audit a math class. Like I was taking upper division math class, like doing proofs and stuff like that. And he really wanted to see what it's like to be in an American math class and like how we do it and all that cool stuff. So I said, hey man, you can audit the math class and you can do this for any class at almost any university in America, as far as I know. It's a standard thing where you go up to the professor at the beginning of the course and you say, hey, I don't want to grade. I'm not a student at this school. I just want to learn. So I want to go to all your lectures and I want to do your homework and I want to take your tests. I think they'll grade your tests and I think they'll grade your homework for you as well. But basically you're just saying, I want to learn this information. So professor, please, can I be in your class? I'm not a student. I just want to learn the info. And I explained this to Insok and he was super, super stoked. He was like, yeah, this is awesome. So that made it so about twice a week I would see him in my math class and we would, hang out sometimes or whatever, before, after, and when I'm hanging out with Korean people or whatever. Like we saw each other frequently enough. And first I should probably explain that Insok was shy. Korean people in general are more shy than Americans, but Insok was shy even for a Korean person. And I'm outgoing. And Americans are outgoing in general, but I'm outgoing and even for an American person. So we're both on these two kind of crazy extremes, right? So I remember one day we were talking to some Korean people. I don't remember exactly who it was. I think it was two girls though, two Korean girls. And I'm sitting there and I'm just doing all my stories. I'm saying, this is what I think of Korean people, and this is what I think of American people, and this is what I did when I got drunk this one time, and I'm just doing my whole show, which I do very naturally and pretty well. And the three people in Seoul and these two girls are just like watching me going, oh, wow, it's so interesting. And then, I do this with Americans too, where there'll be a couple of American people, like 2 or 3 American people. And it's kind of rude, actually. You should kind of, when you're getting all the attention, all Americans want attention. Even shy Americans I've seen, oftentimes they're shy, but they still want attention. They don't need it in the same way, but like attention is still good for them. When they finally get a little bit of courage and say something, we want to pay attention to them and help them. They kind of want attention. So when I'm with Americans and I realize, I'm stealing the show, I should ask someone a question or do something. When I was with these Korean people, I was kind of doing that with the girls. I would say what do you think about that? And then they'd speak a little bit. And then I go, okay, back to my show. And then I realized Insok hadn't said anything. So I was like, oh, by the way, Insok, what do you think? Tell them about that one time you did something. And he got super oh my God. And he just said, no, it's okay. You continue. He just said something like that. He just didn't want any part. He wanted zero attention. He was shy and he wanted no attention. He wanted just back to you. At that moment, I realized me and this guy are super different. We are not the same at all. Even our core desires. My desire just have endless amounts of attention. And many Americans, we like attention. His desire was the exact opposite. Just never give me attention. Please, please never give me attention. And I was so shocked at the time because this is when I'm first starting to hang out with Korean people, and I was just amazed. And this is one of the things that started getting me interested in Korean people, because to me, Korean people are interesting because they're just so opposite to me. So I was like, wow, this is a really good example of how people are opposite to me. So that kind of shows how Americans love attention. But the other part I said was that Korean people love entertainment, which I think is also true. In America, everyone's trying to be the bunwigi maker. So there's no lack of entertainment. Many Americans are walking around, we're trying to entertain each other, we're all trying to be funny. And you're polite if you're the person who's listening, right? If everyone's trying to be funny, so if you're the person who's listening, you're the nice one and you're a good person, right? So in Korea, sometimes I feel like if you're the person who's talking a lot, you're the nice person. Like when I come to Korea and I start telling stories to people, they think, wow, this guy's so kind. He has so many stories to tell us and they're so interesting. I love listening to him. In America, it doesn't really work that way very often. Very few times do people have some guy who's talking all the time and they think, what a nice guy. It's so nice of him to entertain us. The specific example I think of is buskers. Now, buskers in the States, and I think in Europe, are more often than not kind of begging for money, just to say. Whereas in Korea, they're people trying to, I don't know, have a good time and I guess kind of show off their talent or something like that. But the real difference that I see with buskers when Americans and foreign Westerners are watching a busker and when Korean people are watching a busker is, so you'll see many buskers in Hongdae and Sinchon, and I'll go there and the American is thinking, okay, not all Americans, but many Americans are thinking, okay, here's a guy busking. Okay, he's playing his song. He wants me to watch him. Show me what you got. Show me what you can do. If you want my attention, I'm being the nice guy. I'm donating my attention to you. Show me what you got. Are you good at guitar or what? Are you going to do something amazing? And if it's like a guy who's playing like the 4 open chords on guitar, I think A, C, D, E, the really easy ones, and he's playing some shitty song that's like, I don't know, Let It Go or some like overplayed Korean song, the spring song or something like that. I don't want to say that, many people like that. But anyway, if he's playing some overplayed Korean song or he's playing some like shitty American song that nobody likes, we're going to watch him and go, you don't deserve my attention. I'm going to go somewhere else because I've already given you enough of my attention and I'm out of here. I was really shocked to hear some of my Korean friends because they think the opposite, really. We come up and we see a busker and my Korean friend, and I talked to my Korean friend, I'm like, this guy sucks, let's get out of here. He's like, yeah, he sucks, but like, it's nice of him. He's giving us a free show. How nice of him. I promise you, I don't want to make this promise, but very few Westerners and Americans are going to think that way. We're going to think like it's nice of us to watch them. It's nice of us to be the audience who's giving him attention, right? And I think a lot of Korean people think the exact opposite, which is, hey, this guy's giving us a free show. Super nice of him, right? So I'm trying to show you that Korean people really like to be entertained. And I should also say that, like, this is just me, but I think maybe a lot of Americans also fall into it, because Americans are really, like, you have Westerners who generally want attention, but then Americans are like, we really want attention. We're like the most extreme, I think, of any culture of wanting and desiring attention. And this is not all Americans. Maybe this is just me. I'm sure there are some Americans who think this way, but like, we don't care what your reason is for giving us your attention. If you're giving me your attention because you genuinely like me, that's great. But I've had some times where I'm hanging out with a Korean person and I'm talking to them, or I meet them several times or something, and then another Korean friend will say, hey, that Korean guy's just hanging out with you because he wants to learn English. He doesn't care about you. And I think, okay, that's fine. Really, I think, like, okay, he just wants to hang out with me because, like, he wants to learn English. Sounds good for him. What a nice go-getter. Like, he's giving me the attention I desire and I need. I don't see what's wrong with him getting some English lessons out of it, right? I know it sounds a little bad, and I'm not going to say, like, all Americans think that way, but I think many Americans who are watching this can kind of feel where I'm coming from at the very least. So because of these reasons, because Americans, Westerners in general, but especially Americans, love the attention, love the spotlight, love to be seen. And because Korean people enjoy so much being entertained and having a good show in front of them, I think especially Americans and Korean people, we just fit together super well. And on top of that, like I said, I need attention even more than most Americans. And I think I'm pretty good at being entertaining. So like, this is why I always think me specifically and Korean people, we match together so well. And that's one of the reasons I love Korea and love Korean people. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you hate the video, give it a thumbs down. If you love me, if you hate me, subscribe. Follow me on Facebook. Check out my Instagram page. Please leave comments. They're greatly appreciated, even if I can't quite understand all of them. And that's about it. So, have a great day.